Yerp, it's your boy Justin D Live, aka Macho Son, aka Machito's little brother, and you tuned into the Godcast. Money Burnz, VSOP. Let's get it.
Woo! Welcome world. Episode 53 of the Great American Hip Hop Debate Podcast. I am Brother Burnz. To the left of me, as always, I got the brother VS.
VS to the OP, you know what it be. Holla.
Yo, I ain't gonna cut you off. On the check-in, we got International Blood.
Okay, what's dirty, gang? We got my niggas in the house today, boys.
Absolutely, we got family here.
Facts.
We got the brother Chi in the house for the first time. Shout out to that. We got Ash back doing her social media thing, digital marketing / photography over there with the J stunting, shining and shit.
Baby girl.
Shout out to brother F as always. Straight Fuego Studios giving us the clear quality.
For that earlobe penetration.
7-Eleven.
Shout out to the brother Rich in the house. Shout out to the fan back there, the fan of hip hop. Make sure y'all check him out.
He always
Motherfucker know everything about hip hop.
Exactly.
Much love.
Talk to that guy.
Real quick, let's shout out the sponsors. This week, brother Blood and myself are styled by All Flowers Dye. Make sure y'all go check that out. Fly sweaters, fly gear.
Forgot on the MDMA last breath.
Flies heady in the game.
Make sure y'all go follow at MDMA Lifestyle Brand. There's some new pieces dropping this year. Make sure y'all go follow at GAHHD_podcast. Make sure you're following at deadass_worldwide. Make sure you're following at The Real VSOP. That is a Twitter exclusive. Make sure you're following at Last Breath Entertainment. Make sure you're following at callme_Joseph_.
Excellent.
And before I give you his at, let me give this young brother right here his proper introduction. First of all, this is my brother. I fucking got love for this kid. Where do I start? Hudson County legend. Yeah. Rutgers graduate.
Hold on. You have to start with Machito's little brother. That's only right. Because that's all I've been.
Well, before that,
the
son of Macho.
Yeah, oh my God.
The son of Macho.
Son of Macho, brother of
little
Machito.
brother to the brother Chi, a.k.a. Machito. If you from 4-7, Weehawken, you know what time it is. Okay. Hudson County legend, growing legend, like, what's the word? Continued legacy, because you're still in the early stages of a promising and fruitful career. Rutgers alumni.
That's right.
Proud Rockefeller soldier.
Yeah.
Graduate of the Dame Dash School of Hustle.
You know it.
Now senior director of marketing for Def Jam. A select handful of us get to call him Young Hove. The world knows him as Justin D Live, and the universe will soon know him. This is Justin Duran, my brother. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the show.
Cheers. Thank you for coming, my bro. Thank you.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, like 13, 14, 15-year-old me, I could just retire right now.
This would have been it, right? This would have been it.
By the way, to get this validation from you guys, it just felt like I'm done. Like, Ashley, you got it from here.
Yeah, you would have left. Hey, tell everybody I'm done.
If you would have showed me the future video, like, yo, they would have showed you love after ignoring you 3 nights in a row, watching them record the album. They're like, yo, Machito's little brother's still down here, bro.
Yo, those were great times, bro. I remember that shit like if it was yesterday, man. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you, my brother. Everything you've accomplished, everything I've seen you go through to get where you are today, and we're gonna get to that shortly. But all the hard work you put in, my brother, all the studying you did, and I'm not talking about like book studying, college studying. Definitely props to that shit. But the studying of hip hop that you've done, the amount of knowledge that you have gained as far as the culture, you know, being a product of it, the universal reach of it.
Yeah.
Yo, everything you've learned, everything you teach now, props to you, my brother. I'm proud of you from the bottom of my heart. I fucking love you, like what you've done and what now you're gonna give and pass on to the next generation so that they can continue to grow this like to unknown places. You know what I'm saying? This is, I tell Ash tells me she wants to work at Def Jam. I tell Ash, like, you could run Def Jam.
Yeah.
Or you could start something and knock Def Jam out the box.
You can start your own Def Jam.
So, Brother Ho.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey man, this is easily, I won an award 3 years ago for are we, the team that worked on Logic's 1-800 suicide prevention.
Oh yeah, dope song.
1-800. I worked
Big
I
record.
worked that project.
Big.
My team won an award for marketing excellence. It's essentially like the Academy Award or Grammy for marketing. And I swear to you, this moment in my soul and heart of all hearts feels bigger than that moment of like accepting an award.
I don't even know.
Because by the way, I didn't know until I was at the actual award show that was an award that my peers have been pursuing their whole lives. And all I really wanted was like validation from my brother, Burnz, F. You know what I mean? Like that's all that's what I really came in the game for. So I low-key, I got my award later. I got this award a little bit later, so I appreciate it.
And you earned it.
No kidding.
It, my brother.
I swear.
You got it. You got it. No kidding.
Yeah, that's
While you're before we go all the way back
honestly,
to the
hold on.
beginning.
I don't even remember the name of the award, but we could Google it. I swear to my mother.
And this is an award people been fighting for their whole life.
Yeah.
My old boss.
That's why he's whole.
Exactly.
About that shit.
Like, I just wanted Fifi from around the way to know me.
Hell yeah! Shout out to the fans.
Yo, Fifi said, "Yo, I know you since I got baby pictures of you. I know you interviewed Jay-Z. I don't know where he found that out. That's not factual.
We posted on we posted today on the Godcast page that we were gonna interview Young Hov, and I see the fan, aka Fifi. He posts like, "Oh, Justin, boom, boom, boom!" Like he's in tune.
Yo, F, you know one of those guys that your dad might like. That he's like, "Yo, I known you since you was a baby. I got baby pictures of you." I was like, "Word? How?"
I'm like, how you get that?
Not knowing the familiar connection. I'm like, yo, fucking the fan be studying like the staff of record labels and knowing like, oh, this motherfucker just got promoted. Yeah. Let me go back and study him and say, because he comes
and
from.
he be showing love.
Hell yeah.
They were family growing up though.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Yeah.
We lived in one building. He was cousins of Shaggy and Carlito, so they were family.
My closest friend. I don't even saying friend sounds weird. He's like my brother. His name is Carlos, aka Carlito, aka CeeLo, aka Cowhead.
Cowhead.
But we call him CeeLo because he used to gamble all the time once he learned how to flip them dice.
What's the
oh shit?
He's the Supreme Barber?
Yep, Supreme Barber.
At the Supreme Barber, absolutely.
Yeah. We could get to it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pull it out.
No. We're gonna go all the way back to the beginning and talk about Carlito. But you had mentioned something right now that I wanted to get to later. But since you brought it up, I kind of just want to get to it real quick. You mentioned working with Logic. A quick question: Why do you think having worked with him, like so many people hate Logic?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I feel like I'm on the Joe Budden podcast.
He got right to it.
This is the real Joe over here.
He's like, yo,
look, and that's like mid-page interview.
Yo, F, I thought we was gonna go down memory lane and talk family. Why?
We are.
People hate Logic.
We are, but since
Get
you brought up
open and shit.
since you brought up Logic, and you know you've worked with him, like you've been in the same room, you have a relationship with him. Yeah.
Well,
why do you think like?
Well, let me start with this. It would be in poor taste for me to speak on him without him speaking for himself, and it'll be in poor taste for me to say my career would be what it is today without Logic.
Right.
Absolutely. So let me start with that.
And props to him.
I want to start with positive because Logic might be the most sincere, genuine, respectful, and down to earth person I've ever met. Let alone an artist that fought many battles to get his respect and then got his respect and then became a superstar. And to this day, he treats me like the same person he treated me the first day I met him. And I was just like, now I'm a senior director for a record label, whatever that means. When I was just a coordinator and I started at Def Jam, he showed me love as if I was
same respect.
Yeah,
right.
He never really cared what I did or who I was. And I think you know, I never feel comfortable speaking on the artists I work with because I don't know what they're comfortable with me sharing. But I do want any and everybody that has any disdain for an artist, let alone this artist that I've had the blessing to work with, is they need to understand that he's literally one of the most purest people I've ever met. And if where I'm from, I'm so happy my family's here because typically when I make references, I go, yeah, my family, and people don't understand the context of it.
Right.
Like we live by a code that my dad passed on to me and my brother passed on to me. It's like you don't get no points. Like bullies don't get points for bullying people that are not like starting with you.
Exactly. Right.
So where I'm from, bullies get bullied, right? Because it's right. Like it's like you get no points. You get no stats for that. Like you're starting an issue with someone that didn't ask for it, let alone even is looking for it. And you know, and I want to take it away from Logic just to respect my relationship with him and make it a bigger point. I see that shit all the time in the business that I'm in. Is people that get their letters. I use that as a fraternity reference because when I got to college, I seen bozos from back home or kids that went to neighboring towns that were clowns. They never had no stat. Never had bitches. No one ever respected them. Their crew was lames. And then they went to college and put Greek letters on, and they became different people. And that's no disrespect to anybody who's Greek life.
Right.
Yeah,
but the reason why I use that reference is because if you turn into somebody else because another grown man hazed you or put you through a process, then that's a version of you that is not really you.
Exactly.
And I feel like the music business and the business that I'm in, executives and artists included, is that they go through a metamorphosis, and a lot of their insecurities they project on other people, and they use the labels of their titles of who they are. Like I'm a VP of whatever, or yo bro, I just went platinum, man, suck my dick. Like where I'm from, you gonna have to prove it to me, right? Like you that dude?
Yeah. Let's
show
see.
me.
Let's see.
Right?
Yeah, let's see what you got.
We don't. I learned how to make a resume my senior year of college. I don't know about a paper resume. You're going to have to show me off your face. Pause. So that's the community I come from. That's the environment I come from. So all that sucker shit where you bully people that don't even, let me rephrase that. You try to bully people that don't deserve it. You'll get no points from me. I actually think less of you as a person. So, you know, I think that's a bigger problem in the business that I'm in because people live off of the credibility of their status or their title. And you're going to have to meet me to know who I am. And if you put 5 people together that met me, you're going to be hard pressed to find 2 of those 5 people to say, I don't fuck with Justin. That's not who he is.
Facts.
But even outside of business and outside of hip hop, I would think that's a social issue beyond the hip hop culture where, you know, people succeed, whether they see it as earned or unearned. And just people try to dim that light or try to knock it for whatever reason, not knowing the person, the individual,
right?
Or not even. A lot of times, people hate some shit that they never even heard.
Yeah.
To me, that's ignorance.
Yeah.
Well,
and then they double back.
Yeah.
And they see the true. You know, they see the true. The person's true. You know, success or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a valid point too. Now a lot of people feel they can state opinions, strong opinions, whether they even fully believe them or not, and they are protected by their computer screen or their keyboard or whatever.
Yes, yeah, because everybody has a platform. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And what you were saying about being brought up in a certain cloth, a certain upbringing. You know, again, shout out to Big Papa Mach.
Certain code.
We learned that co-signing sucker shit is, what's the saying? If you co-sign a sucker, you're a sucker too, no?
Yeah. I'll give you a better example, and I'll keep people's names anonymous for the sake of. Someone told me a story recently that when they were making bad decisions in their life, they were able to walk up to a connect and get work strictly off of their last name and their face. Right? That's street ethics, the street code, right? Like, if you could get credit, fiao, where we're from, right? If you can get fiao off of your face and your last name, that means someone older than you put in that work already, and they're good for it, right? And you could fuck somebody else's credit up.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, if you're an academic and you went to college and your parents are fortunate enough to put you through school, you probably know how to make a resume. You could lie on paper, but you can't lie off your face. Like, I know you. I know your dad. I know your uncle. You know, like, you can't shake that when you come from where we come from. So I take those morals and I try to apply them in the world I'm in, at least for myself. Yeah. So, you know, if you find 5 people anywhere and if my name came up, I promise you 4 of them are going to be like, yo, that kid bust his ass to be where he's at. I met him before.
Deep.
I know him. He put that work in. And there might be one person in there that might just see my story in a different light. Yeah, but I don't even look at them as a hater. I'm just like, yo, do your Googles.
Yeah.
Shout out to Onyx. Do your Googles. Ask about me. I promise you I'll put that work in. And by the way, if you met me in the middle of my marathon, I implore you to get in the race with me. I promise you not. I already ran 20 miles, but get in now. I bet you I'll run you the next 20. That's the type of time I've always been on.
Right.
So for me, I respect body of work, but more than that, I respect how you treat people.
Right.
Right? Like how you treat waiters, how you treat servers, how you treat doormen. Because our dad, the reason why my brother's here, obviously, because he knows you guys really well, but more importantly,
and he's your manager.
And security. and head of security.
And more importantly, head of security. But for me, like, how do I say this? What's the name of it? Is it A Bronx Tale? Sonny, the kid that's sitting on the stoop?
Sonny and Close.
That's who, I mean, if we could start there, that's who I am. Like, when I seen that movie recently.
For the first time?
Yeah.
No shit.
And I remember watching the movie thinking to myself, like,
this movie good.
No, not only that, but I'm Kendrick Lamar to my family. I'm the good kid in the Mad City. I'm Sonny on the stoop. I'm watching.
I'm C, right?
Yeah. Like I live in an arena where people are living their lives in order to make ends meet. I don't even know that the lure of Mickey before we meet him, or the lure of my father, or the lure of my brother before. So that's why when we started the interview, it's like, wait. If we're in the 201, if we in Hudson County, I start with my street resume, which is Macho's son, Machito's little brother.
Yep.
You know how many fights I didn't have to have because old head would jump in and be like, yo, don't jump in that fight. That's Macho's son. And people would just move. Like, and I'd be like, yeah, Macho's son. Prince Joffrey. You know what I mean?
The golden
you feel me? I'm like, I don't know, but when my dad and my brother's name gets mentioned when I'm outside, people treat me different.
Right.
But I was always not a good kid. I was mischievous, but I was a gooder kid than those that came before me. And I told Ashley this, and Ashley, Ashley don't got a nickname yet. We haven't given. I noticed that in the intro. She's the only one that didn't have a nickname.
No, she doesn't have.
She'll get one.
She hasn't earned one yet.
Ashley. So Ashley
look at the face
is getting the baton pass, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Eventually.
She got to earn that.
She got to earn it. Yeah.
She's getting there.
Right.
He's got a.
She's in position.
She's done a couple of episodes.
And by the way, Ashley is my niece.
And my niece
Burnz'
as well.
niece,
Correct.
but my brother's daughter.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm saying that all in theory. So it starts from the legacy. So before I'm a hip hop historian, I'm a historian of my own culture.
Yes.
And I've been passed the baton based on the limitations that the world gave my predecessors because this is the evil world we live in. And sometimes you get put in an environment where you gotta sell the leaves that grow in front of your house.
Yeah.
And then
Predatory environment.
But sometimes those leaves might lead to like petty charges that lead to felony charges, and guys go away.
And there's different paths.
Fortunately, I was put in a position where I didn't have to do that because of the people that came before me, but I do love the morals that came from where I came from, and I apply them on a corporate level.
Right.
And I love applying it because the product that I sell on a corporate level is my culture. It's hip hop. It's urban culture. It's inner city culture. It's lower income values, right? So if you went to school for 8 years and you've been fortunate enough to come from a family that has the means, and I came from the mud and I got it out the mud, hey man, we're selling my product. You're gonna have to see it the way I see it. Because when the artist walks in the room, he's gonna gravitate to me. I promise you that.
Exactly.
And it's gonna be off of my shape up. It's gonna be off of the layering of my jewelry. It's gonna be off my rosary beads. He'll see nuance and be like, "Oh, I know this kid. I met him before."
Yeah, exactly.
He'll look at you and be like, "You're a fucking bum. Nobody knows you."
You know what's funny? You just reminded me. I just seen KRS-One was doing an interview, and he was saying about how he lived in a home before he got his stardom. And like he'd like go all day without eating and then perform at like Latin quarters at like midnight just so he could eat. So he's like, you think that somebody battling me that been eating all day and been, in a home and comfortable going against me, you think they're gonna do that? I'm an animal. I just got let out the cage. Yeah. There's no comparison. So it's kind of the same thing.
Some people are literally hungry and some people are figuratively hungry.
Right.
When I interned at Def Jam in 2012, I was literally hungry.
Right.
Yeah.
Unpaid. looking at every intern like, bro, I will die on this fucking desk before I let anybody tell you that you're better than me, because you're not. Because I don't know if I can ever get back in this building.
Exactly.
You feel me? And literally, my intern in 2012, 2017, I'm back in the building, but I'm working now. And that's just manifest destiny. That's every day pounding it in my head like, well, I argue with Burnz, and Burnz said Def Jam is not better than Bad Boy. Bad Boy is better. And I'm like, those are my Harvard law. Fuck Rutgers. I got to work at the place where I've seen minorities achieve excellence and wealth. So to me, those institutions are important. But more importantly, the people that set the foundation for me are even more important. And I want to be a rep. Like my goal, my new career goal is to be the representation of my father, of my brother, of you guys. All the little tidbits that you could be like, yo, people are goofy in the business, but I do fuck with that one dude though. That one dude is a product of all the shit y'all taught me.
Yeah, it's that cloth that we were talking about that he came up in. Speaking of pops, speaking of brother, growing up Puerto Rican, in Jersey, in the hood, was before hip hop became like the dominant. Was the household salsa influenced?
No. Yes. It was like.
And I'm asking this question for the people listening because I know these stories.
I bet you it was a lot of freestyle.
If I could say,
He nailed it. I was gonna say that.
well, you were younger. There was a lot of freestyle. Imagine waking up on a Sunday.
Here we go.
Are you picking them up? Are y'all picking them up?
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Listening to salsa coming out your living room, all right, and walking into the living room, and there goes your moms and pops at 9:30 in the morning dancing salsa right in the living room.
Yeah. On a Sunday, you said.
Broke as hell, no money, all right, living life, loving life.
Yeah.
That's why music to us, you know what I mean, at least to me, it started, with my family, of course. It's everything for us. It's life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because even when memories like that, like I just said, we didn't have much.
Yeah.
But just waking up to that vibe,
Yeah.
it felt like you had everything.
It was
You
freedom.
know what I'm
It was
saying?
freedom.
And that was, freestyle, salsa, you know what I mean? And it was a vibe. That's all it was. And we all knew the freestyle songs, right? And what's crazy is now our kids know the freestyle song.
And they ain't made a new freestyle song in 20
Nah.
years. That's our heirloom.
They haven't.
Our heirlooms,
I miss freestyle.
our heirlooms are freestyle records.
Exactly.
Right up.
So I mean, music is just it's just everything.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, 2 points. I just noticed this the other day, and I think we all fall under the same category. I think all of our parents are in the same age range. So when they were raising us, they were 20. My mom birthed me at 20. So when I was 8, my mom was 28
How
years
fortunate.
old. You know what I'm saying? So at 28 years old, they're not trying to fuck with us. They trying to get it popping. They was getting it lit every weekend. Them house parties, them family
Hanging
parties,
out.
like
Hell
you said,
yeah.
waking up and it's still popping, and you're like, damn.
Why don't these motherfuckers go home?
Right up.
But that's where the musical influence commences.
Yeah.
Well, let me paint a picture. 'Cause
Yeah.
my brother did make a good point. My brother's 7 years older than me.
Correct.
7. About 6, 7. My childhood, whenever I do interviews and people are like, yo, where did you get your musical influence from? It's like, the only thing I could think of is sitting, laying on my mom's bed with mad jackets piled on top of me. Y'all laughing because this is the visual. Because my brother's older than me, so my brother's actually dancing and having fun with. I'm still young enough that I gotta go to sleep around midnight or 1. We little kids staying up till 1.
Exactly.
Man, sugar, you know what I mean, on our face, just like me, Wichito, Carlito, all my little cousins.
All in one room.
All in one room, knocked out, N64 on controller on our chest, but mad bear jackets, Sherlin jackets, on top of me, and me just sleeping through bass on a level boom, 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 boom. And you know what I mean? And I'm just hearing freestyle, people smoking bogeys in the room, talking shit,
That's what I was
fighting.
gonna say. The assorted aromas of the coats. One got the bud scent, one got the bogey scent.
You feel me? Couples arguing
like
in that
a female.
room. Couples arguing in that room.
While you knocked
people
out,
going in that room to make a little hand-to-hand transaction before they go. People going there to get right. Two didn't get right, go back out there, dance to. And me and my cousins are like babies, bro.
Absorbing.
But the music is the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? It's the soundtrack. And I'm going to add what my brother said because I've been going to therapy and I've been like unlocking all these. The music for a lot of inner city people is it's a vehicle for our expression because communicating amongst each other is something that we're not taught.
Right. Yes.
So sometimes you can put on a record and it either numbs the noise or the rapper or the artist you're listening to is speaking for you or they're speaking to you. Before podcasts, Nas, Papa Was a Player, was a guy that was 10 years my senior that grew up in Queens that was speaking about his dad who lived a
promiscuous lifestyle.
But not just promiscuous, someone that was just living his life and making errors. And it's funny because I just sent this song to my brother a few weeks ago and I said, you know what's crazy about this record, Brothers? That's me and my brother would call each other Brothers. I'm like, is that he forgave him off top. He said, yo, to my guy, like I love you. It wasn't like I blame you. It was, and I'm thinking to myself, damn, you know what's crazy? I remember sneaking in my brother's room and playing that record and running to Machito because I'm a baby. I'm like, yo, Nas knows Papi. And Machito being like, bro, get the fuck out of here. And then
the way he's looking at him right now.
And he'll let my brother listen to the record and be like, yo, this is crazy.
Right.
But I'm saying, so music sometimes filled the void of a lack of education or a lack of, like, we breed baby soldiers where we're from. And sometimes communicating with words is not the best way to communicate. Sometimes it's a Yankee game. Sometimes it's dancing with your family. So the music is usually the
those
vehicle.
Little small gestures.
The music is the vehicle for emotions. So now me and my brother have gotten to a point with his kids that we're working on how to fill in those other gaps, but we still communicate through music. Right. Because Damien, his son, the heir to the Duran throne,
Young Rico, shout out to
Little D.
He's sending us Polo G, 42 Doug, and me and my brother like, what the fuck is this? But when you listen to it, it's a reinterpretation of Nas and Common and all the artists that we were infatuated with.
Resonates with them, though.
I think we played the Polo G Tupac remake on the pod.
Yeah, we did.
We did, actually.
Should I ruffle some feathers?
Can we say from our era, we opened the door and came around a little more? Because, I mean,
We're more open. We're more open-eared.
I know myself, and for a certain amount of time, it was like, nah, ain't nobody listening to this shit. This shit is garbage. Yeah. We didn't want to give it the time of day, right? But at the end of the day, it's music, right? It's music.
Well, that's the thing. We are fans of not only hip hop music, we are fans of music. So we're less likely to just shut some shit down. So we're gonna give it a chance. It could be some rock shit. It could be some random reggae shit.
The thing is, too, I also believe that we're not prisoners of our own nostalgia. Like, I'll enjoy something for what it actually is.
Yes.
I can't compare it to the 90s or Nas, Illmatic. I can't do that because that's not what it is. And it's not made for that.
That's what it was. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we're older now. Me, for one.
Right.
Man, you gotta see the shit I be rocking out to in my car.
I'ma tell you. Listen, I know my brother came into that song. He be like, yo, this new shit whack. I'm like, you just listening to Pop Smoke. What are you talking about?
But there is.
And don't get it twisted. Everybody has a guilty pleasure.
No, it's not. By the way, it's not a guilty pleasure. I don't mean to disagree with everybody. But I do want to say that because my profession is to be in the mind state of a 14 to 18-year-old consumer, I professionally have to adapt my perspective every year to be great at my job. So context is important when we're talking about this.
Right.
Nostalgia is the number one factor. You got to be in that wheelhouse of 14 to 20, whoever you are. Right. The music, it could be anything, literally anything. If it is popular between 14 to 20, it's in your time capsule of when you were the most baddest version of yourself.
Right. And when you're making your most memories.
Yeah, you're coming
So
into your
adulthood.
adolescence. The first girl you ever flirted with, the first girl that ever gave you airtime, the first girl you ever kissed. There's a soundtrack to that.
Absolutely.
For me, it's some bullshit like a 50 Cent 21 Questions, but for y'all, it's some other shit, right?
Of course.
But for Ashley,
we got
it's some
a
other
Method
shit.
Mary and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but number one is nostalgia is so important in the experience. When you're outside of that window, you're living your regular life.
Yes.
You're listening to talk radio, sports radio. You might sneak in a few records here and there, but these kids are just listening to music because they don't know how to communicate yet. Yeah. So the music is communicating for them. That's number one. Number two, context of the other thing that's really important is like what's going on in the world at that moment as a teenager. So what's the vehicle, right? Like if TikTok is the vehicle that they're all on, then the music is going to be a representation of that format. Radio was really important when you guys were popping. Me, it was mixtape culture, right? Like the mixtape boom happened when I was in Pizza Hut and I was like, yo, 50 Cent, Kanye West, Dipset. But that's all because of mixtape that we started tapping. Right? Yeah, we tapping in down south because the mixtapes are moving. Now we got Dat Piff. Not right. For them, it's snippets of music. It's not even a whole song. It's like
even whole songs. I don't mean to cut you off. Even whole songs are only what 2 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. But by the way, as a professional, I'm a part of that problem because I'm now looking at the market and I'm looking at a pie chart and numbers and I'm like,
right, exactly. Okay,
bro,
you gotta get those streams.
No, listen, I gotta be the best. I gotta be the Kobe Bryant of my job. So if I gotta be the best, I have to understand. All right, well, the consumer wants this. How can I get them nutrition, but in a way that they're gonna want it? Right? You feel me? So
some consumable.
All right, so who do we like? We like Baby Keem, right? We like Baby Keem. We like Kendrick. We like right. These guys are good rappers. But how do we put it in a packaging that's gonna allow a 14-year-old to grab that product and go, "What is this?" and hold it and look, give it an opportunity.
Yeah.
Some of the artists that we fell in love with and that skill set is like a big man who lives in the post. He won't survive in today's basketball. Right. So that is all perspective and context. And I don't want to strip anyone of their nostalgia, but you're right. You have to, if you're going to be a fan of a youthful art form, you have to release your inner OG hate, you know, and you gotta let the kid play the music sometimes and be like, all right.
But I'll add to that because there is music that transcends like age ranges. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you a perfect example. You like, if you're really into hip hop, you know what I'm saying? Like Burnz mentioned, Logic, for example. I think he's extremely underrated, and to me, he's a good rapper. But I mean, I'm fucking 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the kids nowadays kind of listen to. There's some stuff, like they listen like Little Pump or whatever. Yeah. To me, you put them, you put Little Pump or 6ix9ine head to head with like Logic. I'm like, yo, he's fucking gonna whoop their ass up and down the street. You know what I'm saying? Of course. So there's music that transcends age ranges, and also there's throwback music that the kids now resonate with. Like you said, like a TikTok. I have my daughters that sing like a song. Like, how the fuck you know that song? And they singing it. And they're like, oh, TikTok. And I'm like, oh, shit, I fucks with TikTok. Because otherwise I wouldn't know how to market it to them or how to play it for them.
They're remixing and repackaging the Jordan 11s that you wore. And you're like, oh, they got a new pulley tab on there or a clear sole?
My boy Nelly is popping right now with that...
the Busted Challenge.
The Busted Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the Busted Challenge again.
And the song that they actually used for the Busted Challenge, it takes a sample from
It's Getting Hot in Here.
From Nelly. Yeah, Hot in Here, yeah.
It uses a sample.
I thought he busted open to that.
No. And shout out to the artist. Her name is Erica Banks.
Yes, exactly.
You want to get hot right now? Put your song out and make it a challenge on TikTok.
Yeah, when you were saying Blood about your daughter's playing some older music and it coming back through TikTok, that can be done to older records as well. You know what I'm saying? Not only new artists, but if an old artist is smart enough, they'll take an old song and somehow get a challenge or something going to where people are replaying it, and that could bring them, a whole new demographic, a whole new fan base, current fan base, and I mean, charting is possible off TikTok now.
Look at what happened with Dogface. That dude, Dogface.
Hey, my Loke out the West Coast. Yeah,
word up.
It's
he
not
got that song popping again.
to go viral is not impossible. You
Well,
know
let me say this.
Exactly.
I do want to, because you guys are talking about the machine, and I unfortunately
You are in the machine.
I unfortunately
You are
represent
part
the
of the
machine.
machine. Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing more frustrating than me sitting with an artist manager and an incredibly talented artist that may fit the mold of a Logic or a J. Cole that has that skill set, and the manager say something like, "Yo, so we got to go viral on TikTok." Now
Every artist is not meant to do that
in the meeting.
Yeah, so I do want to say
Well,
this.
first of all, that's a lazy manager.
Wait, hold on.
Part
I do want to say this because you guys have a lot of developing artists and aspiring artists that are independent, and
yes,
I want to make sure they get this information.
yes, and that's part of the reason we brought you up here. We do have a lot of artists that need this
Educational
knowledge.
As a consumer, I have a perspective, but as an executive, I have a whole different perspective because my perspective is supported by the 20 artists that I'm actively working, and then endless amounts of data proving whether our theories, what we're saying, is actually factual or it's just a theory. TikTok is a lottery, right?
Right.
Meaning, you have a better chance at going viral on TikTok than you do at going to the meat market, grabbing a ticket from the meat market, taking that ticket, and then going and playing the Powerball and winning the Powerball.
And hitting.
Right?
Yeah, right.
That's the probability of you going viral on TikTok.
Right.
So I do want to say, because I have a decent understanding of what your audience is and who the artists that are listening to this podcast. The rule that will stay tried and true is exactly what we said in the beginning of the podcast about being a representation of who you are. Understand that there are 93 channels for you to get your music out. Try and find the ones that speak to you organically. Whatever vehicle of communication, whatever social media app is the most natural to you, double down on that one, because that's probably where your fan is at. If every time I turn around and I'm a fan of yours and I get your music through Facebook, if that's where your audience is at, and every time I turn around you're doing some goofy shit on TikTok, you're gonna lose that fan. So understand, when you're in the earliest stages of your artist development, building a core fan base is the most important thing.
Right.
Spreading yourself thin by jumping on every trend is never going to work. It didn't work in your era. It didn't work in my era. It didn't work in the era before that.
Absolutely.
Virality is it's in the definition. For someone, I work in marketing. The most annoying thing they hear every day is, all we got to do is make this go viral. Well, if you actually knew how to do that, you wouldn't be working here. You'd be investing in stocks.
Right.
Right?
Because you can predict the future.
No. You can predict how the behavioral patterns of an unpredictable behavioral pattern that is the internet. Right? We don't know what's going to trend. We just follow the trend. It's like trying to predict the weather 10 years out.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to make that clear. In hindsight, everything seems like predictable in terms of how we can make it happen. But why none of us have made it happen? You feel me?
Exactly.
So this idea is a crutch that you could be like, bro, you can put anything on TikTok and it's gonna go. It's like, not really. Not really. Stick to what you know. Find out artists that have your skill set, artists that have your sound or tone or energy in music. See what channels they dominate, and then mold yourself in that pattern, because that audience is already there. You feel me? You're not gonna sell prime rib steak in the vegan section of a grocery store, because that person's not looking for that.
Exactly.
So I want your listeners to know that blaming the internet or blaming virality or blaming people that have gone viral is an unsustainable growth model. And on the flip side, that artist that received that virality, I have a few artists in mind I can't name because obviously.
Yeah, go ahead.
But artists that have gone viral and we've taken meetings with them, and they literally have no skill set. Right? Like they can't make another song. We sat them in the studio and it was a mistake. This moment is an opportunity for them to change their family's lives and make a few million. But I know for a fact that will be the last time they ever do that, because they're not seasoned to be entertainers. They just had a moment. That's how random virality is. So if you sit and monitor that all day, you're a fucking idiot. And you're not taking your craft seriously. So I'm just saying that so people can remove the crutch, artists specifically, not us as fans, but artists.
And we need more artists to understand that it is a business, and deeper than that, like you can study it, like you said, through pie charts, through statistics, through feedback, and realize.
Fuck that. Open your Instagram and go into your ad data.
your analytics.
You could see,
yeah.
even further than that, you could see what Instagram information they stole from you and what they're advertising to you. So right now I could go on my Instagram, it's gonna be like, this dude, DK, he swears he's a fucking a fitness model now. So now we're sending him weight bands, whey protein.
Yeah.
They know everything about
There's
you.
an algorithm.
So more than
They hear you.
You are an algorithm.
So more than your consumer, it's studying your behavior. So if you're an artist and you haven't even opened that port, what's Rich at? Rich, am I right?
Rich, the technical brain behind the good fella.
No, the businessman behind everything I've ever done in my life is Rich Sanchez. He's the one that I'll be on.
Shout out, Rich.
The Kareem Biggs Burke of the operation that I've been running for the last 10 years.
Just don't get bagged up in a high rise with a grow going on.
But
if you do, let me know. Holla at me.
I ask Rich because Rich will be like, "Yo, Just, this is why," and I'm like, "Word." I was talking about peanuts earlier. How the fuck I got a peanut ad?
Yeah. They know.
But see, Rich is the mechanic. He'll open the hood up and be like, this is what the internet, this is what you're allowing them. And by the way, I'm saying that so there's developing artists that are sitting here and they're blaming everybody, but the information is literally right in the palm of their hands.
Exactly.
Bro, go on YouTube it. You'll figure it out. Stop blaming other people. For your lack of success.
It's at your fingertips.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? And we come from an era where things were not so easy, things were not so accessible. This is a conversation I was just having with the fan, as a matter of fact. Nowadays, anybody can be a rapper. You know, you have a laptop, you have an iPhone, whatever, you can be a rapper.
Overnight success.
Back in the days, you had to be accepted into the culture. You had to fight your way into the culture and earn your position. You know what I'm saying? A whack name would keep you out of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Whack names are the wave right now.
Yeah.
The whacker, the whacker, the bigger the wave.
You blowing up.
That's a fact, though.
Yo, that's why I could never blow up, because I'm not taking a whack name. I don't give a fuck, my nigga. I'm not going to blow up with no whack name.
You're not going to be Lil Blood?
Nah, hell nah, dog. Big Blood.
Lil Shot?
Lil Shot.
You know what?
Shot. How about
I seen a
Shorty Shot?
I seen a post the other day that said, yo, you grew up in the era of the littles. We grew up in the era of the bigs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Big Pun, Biggie,
Big
Big L. You know, we don't fuck with the littles. Fuck
peace.
that, man.
That's a funny ass philosophy. We
right
big
up.
over here, yeah.
Facts. But we just interviewed Elder Sensei. He's one half of the Artifact. Old school New Jersey crew. Yo, dope ass music. And he was talking about in his heyday, you know, in order to get to where they got to for their first contract, this man, like, yo, I'm talking about this songs with Brand Nubian, was on the bus with Jay-Z, with Busta Rhymes, with other rap crews, like Steel Sharp and Steel. So, you know, you can see them as an overnight success once they blew up, but you don't know the hard work that it took to get there. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what they did and the other artists that they were around to get to where they got to.
And I think that plays into why he's still relevant and still able to put projects out 20, 25 years later, because when you put the work in, similar to what Young Hov has done, you know what I'm saying? It's a different career trajectory.
You know what's really weird to me? That my nickname to you guys is Young Hov.
Forever.
And now I'm like a professional, and that to me just seems like sacrilegious. That's like if I kept calling you
like,
Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, like my man Babe Ruth, and you're like, yo, chill, I play baseball. But
that just goes to show,
that's so bizarre to me that like, wow, Young Hov, you know, and now I'm in the sport that I once like.
Correct.
These people that they're on the Pantheon. There's like a museum. I studied every one of these people, and the fact that I even get to hold a clipboard or wear a headset on the sideline of these greats, or at least help paint the picture that is hip hop culture now, to me is not real. Like every day doesn't feel real, right? Like, bro, I get to contribute. Like my last 6 years of contributing to music, I'm in the history books. Like you could go on Wikipedia pages for good music artists and be like, yo, my brother or my brother-in-law's little brother, he worked those albums. Bro, that doesn't feel real to me. You get what I'm saying?
I'm so happy for you. That's dope.
But I want to make a bigger point, and I appreciate you guys know I appreciate that. The bigger point is what we were just talking about, and I keep thinking about not talking to you guys, excuse me, but speaking to the young artist that's listening to this podcast.
No, please do.
Success.
Talk to 'em.
Success.
And
is,
not only the young artists, before you continue, not only the young artists, there's so many lanes in hip hop and entrepreneurship that we
bro.
promote.
Listen, I'm talking to the
Yeah.
dude who's working at PF Chang's right now. And he wants to be the manager. Whatever the fuck your bag is, get
the
in it,
hustler.
right?
We're
Get
talking
in
to the
it, right?
hustlers. Yeah.
Hustlers.
I'm saying
Success.
what I'm saying is this is the way I trick my mind. Success is relative, right?
True.
The idea of success for people that come from nothing, of course, is going to be survival because that's why people live, to survive. We are unfortunate, so we came up in communities where I got to get this paper because fuck being able to communicate your feelings, fuck therapy, fuck health, fuck finance, fuck a college degree. I just need to get rent paid this month. I need to eat this week. So success is relative. So the reason why we always got paper chasing mentality because it's the threshold. Most people don't even get out of that situation, right?
Yeah.
So once you kind of get your bearings down and you have a decent job or you got a little side hustle or you're flipping whatever you got to flip in order to make ends meet, boom, you got that part down. You got the core living situation down.
The necessities. Are
After
covered.
that, I'm setting it up to say after that, success is relative. Once you got like the bare, like, all right, I have somewhere to sleep, do I have somewhere to eat, and my kids got food, right? After that, success is relative. Meaning, if your goal as a musician is to look at Lil Mosey or well, the kid that got the Whoop-De record,
Yeah, yeah.
CJ.
CJ.
Lil CJ.
No,
something
that's
like
not
that, yeah,
CJ, the kid that got the Whoop-De record.
Yeah.
yeah.
If your idea of success is notoriety, fame, virality, your inbox blowing up, getting mad likes, then you know what? If you're listening to this, then you have the right to be envious and you have the right to be upset at the system that allowed Lil Mosey or CJ Whoop-De to go viral, right?
Yeah.
But for someone like you guys that mastered the craft, I would remove my feeling of envy when I see that because I'm like, relatively speaking, that's not the success I want because you know the kind of fan that comes with that success? A 9-year-old white girl in Omaha that doesn't listen to hip hop, doesn't understand the principles of hip hop. That is the most fickle fan in the world. So if you went on tour, if you put out another song, if you sold merch, that fan will never ever re-engage with you other than that 15-second clip on TikTok. So by the way, the thing that you're envying, you don't even want that custy.
Exactly.
You want the custy that you want, the one that's going to understand your story, that's going to respect your craft, right?
Yes.
This is the equivalent to a boxer that knocks out another boxer off of a crazy roundhouse punch. And you're like, where the fuck did this guy come from? He got 7 losses. But guess what? His next fight was going to happen.
He's gonna get fucked
You
up.
feel me? Now,
Yeah,
if
knocked out, word up.
so relatively speaking, success is relative. You feel me? Like, don't sit and envy someone that even if you were put in their shoes, you wouldn't even. The bread, yes, that influx of capital, we all need that. We all need to hit the lottery ticket every now
Everybody
and
thinks
then.
that.
I want to hit the 3-team parlay every now and then. That's why I bet on it, right? But do I really want that, or am I more interested in having a sustainable career, having a sustainable fan base? You have to ask yourself what it is that you want out of this business because A, you chose to be a musician. The odds are not in your favor, my guy.
No, especially
The
today.
probability of you succeeding is it's 0.00001%. Anybody listening to this podcast that it wants to be a musician, that's your probability of success.
Right.
Run into a highway and not get hit by a car, same probability, right? So you sitting and envying everybody for their success, you got the game fucked up. You entered the arena without even understanding what you want as success.
Right. Exactly.
Justin Duran, the brother of Machito, the son of Macho, was to get out of our community, put myself in a position to practice the art of selling and informing people about my culture and giving my brother's kids and our family an opportunity to go, damn, that's a fly ass Puerto Rican dude. That's my idea of success. So any money that comes after a certain number for me is all relative. I don't give a fuck. I don't need it. I already succeeded.
I
Now,
get it. I
you
get
get what
it.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't hate on somebody that got a big bag because that dude went to a fraternity, got hit. He got a false facade of himself. I've been that dude, bro. I've been plucking bad bitches even when I was chunky. So none of this means anything to me. The idea that I get to be in this office and I get to speak to other kids that are of color, come from inner cities, lower income, and get to help them pave their path is my success. So that check is just extra. And by the way, since I've been living like that, bro, a lot of checks been coming in.
Yep.
You know what's funny? That for you it might even be a burden because you're like, I want to make sure that this person, at the same time you love it,
you're
but
right.
you're
You're right.
stressed
You're
out
right.
about,
Yeah.
I want this person to get the right success, and I want to market them the right way, and it. Otherwise, another person that wouldn't really give a fuck and just is getting the bag, really doesn't have that sense of responsibility. And when it's all said and done, they're not going to have even the longevity. They might if they're lucky, but they're not there mentally.
Yeah.
Well, look. Again, it's tough for me to speak on artists. As a consumer, you guys know I'm a nerd, but I can't because I'm in the arena.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say a quick story about an artist, unnamed, that I knew someone who worked with them on the back end of their virality.
Okay.
And nothing's worse than a joint that used to be attractive, and now she has no life skills, and she's getting older.
Message.
And she used to lean on her beauty, and the world don't react to her the same way. So she has no life skills. She doesn't know. She's not funny. People used to tell her she was funny, but she's really not that funny. She's not a good conversation. She's kind of dull. She's the dullest tool in the shed, right? That is the equivalent of an artist that went viral, and then you got to deal with them on the back end because they don't know what work looks like.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have no work ethic. They have no discipline. They have no skill set. So to your point, F, it hurts me because these are young kids of color. This is me. This is Damien. This is Destiny. This is Ashley. This is my family. When I look at a young kid, I don't give a fuck if you're from St. Louis or Alaska. If you come from my economic background, I'm like, damn, bro, do you know how to produce? Because you need to start getting your we need to keep you in the game because the door is about to close. What you do with all your money? You bought a grill? You put a fucking ruby on your forehead? What? What are you doing with your money? Now I'm Theo Justin. Now I'm Uncle Justin. Now I'm trying to save young. So to your point, bro, virality, you only get to see the birth of Vanilla Ice. You don't get to see beyond the glory of Vanilla Ice. Nobody wants to know that side of the story, bro. And Google Vanilla Ice. He was the first viral rap rapper.
We want to say thank you as a culture for taking on the responsibility of attempting to steer these kids in the right direction and not being the leech or the culture vulture that a lot of people do. A lot of people in your
many
position.
executives.
Oh yeah, once they get into a certain position,
they have no issue with sucking a kid dry, letting them have their 15 minutes and then
dipping.
Well, it's the
On
nature.
to the next one,
But it's the nature of the business, though. I mean, look, I would never shit on the thing that pays my bills and the thing that gave me an opportunity to talk my shit because I've been talking my shit since I was 12. Now I just have now I'm verified on Twitter. But you guys have known me.
Now you have the credits.
You guys have known me and been like, I mean, Machito's little brother always is very chatty. Like he likes hearing himself talk, right? Like, it's fun, right?
Not like that.
No. But by the way, I accept that because now I talk and people pay me.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I've been talking shit. I just always been that dude. Y'all just found out, right?
Yeah.
Like Kanye stood on the table of Capitol Records and told them that he was Michael Jackson before he ever put a record out. I'm sure that executive now tells that story. Oh, Kanye is Michael Jackson now, by the way, of our generation. Influential.
I think he passed him probably.
Right? You feel me? But he believed it. So when I was 12 and I was talking my shit, all I was trying to do was impress you guys. But I was talking my shit, and I'm still talking my shit.
Word up.
And I want to go back to that quickly and briefly, and not even briefly because I want to hang out here for a while.
Yeah, we can.
Young Hove, the Rockefeller fanatic, the big fucking the big gold cross, the big diamond earrings.
We call that Jesus Peace Justin. That's the era.
Oh, okay. That was when you came on the radar and shit for I think that was around the time that everything was clicking and we were interacting and shit. At that time you were like Dame Dash Jr., Dame Dash #1 fan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Still, by the way, still Dame Dash #1 fan.
Yes, and well deserved.
As an adult executive.
Dame Dash in the making.
Word up.
And well deserved because Dame is the man. And
listen, I call myself a Dame disciple. And I will argue with any human being in the world and tell them I'm here in the music business. Dame is still very alive and well, doing very well for himself.
Yeah.
I'm here carrying on and I'm a living flower of the seeds that he planted in the music business as someone that wants to take back
right
the fabric that we work so hard to create as a culture. So we deserve that. What do you mean we can't sit in that room and make that decision? Why can't we get that money? You're talking about our culture.
Right.
Correct.
Why do you get to trade it? I thought we was planting it back here. What happened?
Which is another.
So that's Dame theology, and I live off that to this
mentality.
day.
Hustle for your last name.
Duran, for sure.
And that's an excellent point that, I think the internet has opened up the potential to kind of speed up the process of the power being given back to the creators as opposed to and we're kind of jumping all over the place.
No, but we can stay with the Dame shit.
I want to go a little bit before the Rockefeller shit. Your number one source of hip hop music at one point was the Brother Chi.
Oh my God.
Right?
His CD collection.
All right. Do you recall the first, like, everybody got that first song that kind of like, I don't want to say blows your socks off, but it's like,
it's basically like the epiphany. Like,
I got it. I know it.
The baiter, the one that pulls you in. Like,
you're gonna love this. Yeah, Joey's gonna love this.
Let's see.
Well, first of all, I want to start here. The reason why I said I'm C in the Bronx Tale, is because I would just think about it. Like, my dad was into, how do I say this? He's probably past what do they call, year of whatever. Like, you can't get him for it.
But, yeah.
Statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations.
But let's say my dad was an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Mom was involved in the business of being an entrepreneur as well. Grandma as well. The whole family is in the flower in the pottery business, right?
In the pottery business, okay.
I'm at home, and to me, this is normal everyday life. You know how that phrase, like, you don't know you're broke until you don't know you're broke because everybody else is broke.
Yeah,
until you don't know until you leave.
Yeah.
My brother was like the coolest human on the world. Still is, to me, the coolest human on the world, because he was 6 years up the road further than I was. And my parents at the time, I thought was a disservice, was a good thing. My father to be Spanish, to put the ito on the end of your name is like, it's almost like Junior. My father's Junior Duran.
Right.
My Chito, and they named me Justin. They didn't give me no. I'm like, Ashley, I don't got no nickname. I gotta earn one. So I'm sitting at home watching my brother, listening to Biggie, listening to Redman, listening to what's my man's name? I'm looking at this shit. What was the group that had the chubby dude that was fly? He was like
Grand Pooba.
Grand Pooba, Grand Pooba was like A$AP Rocky before A$AP Rocky. He was known for his flyness.
His fashion.
He was a hell of a rapper, but like that, his drip was crazy at a time when people weren't even thinking about it like that, right? He put pieces together. And my brother would dress like Grand Pooba, and I would always ask him like, "Yo, like, where'd you get that Nautica sweater?" Or, "Yo, where you get that Chaps shirt from?" Or, "Where you get the..." And he'd be like, "Yo, chill, I'm on my brand newbie, I'm on my Grand Pooba." His Tommy, right? Block letters, right?
Yeah.
Right? And now, as a grown man, I tell interns, I'm in the nuance business, because it's not about just music. I know you asked music, but it was watching my brother be the coolest human on the planet to me, and watching the shit that he was wearing, like Wally's with some like chaps on, and like, a nice little Jesus cross, but throw it on with a sweater, like little Motown Philly mixed with brand Nubian. I don't know these artists
blending
yet.
genres and cultures.
But by the way, with a Jesus cross, a little twist of Mark Anthony, a little Adolfo, right?
Word up.
So I'm me and my cousin Wichito, who's fresh from Puerto Rico, we're studying him.
And shout out, brother.
We're studying my brother. We're studying all my cousins. I'm studying Wilson, K9, and we're watching them, and we're like, damn, we want to be like these guys because they look cool. And they're free, right? Like, they don't have jobs. They just be outside all day. They ride around in was it the Jetta? No, you didn't have a Jetta. You had a...
Nah, that was shout out to the older guys. Traz,
Kenny,
Kenny.
Yeah. So these guys were living a lifestyle that reminded of the music videos. Like, everything was kind of like... I thought that's what the world was. I thought everybody was riding around in Lexus. I didn't know that there was like a world where people lived in suburban houses. Like, Full House didn't really make sense to me.
Right.
Juice did, like.
Yeah.
So anyway, I say that because we're in the nuance. I'm in the nuance business. I sell nuance. I sell more than music. I sell lifestyle. I sell culture. I sell an idea. I sell a life experience, a social economic experience, and the music would just accompany it. So I want to make it clear that fashion was the thing being fly was the thing that made me love, like, this culture. And the music was secondary because it was what was being played while I was experiencing all that flyness. I do want to say a quick story. I never told my brother this, but I did tell my therapist recently.
Exclusive.
She said, my therapist said, what was the first time you ever felt left out by your dad and your brother? And I said, damn, I never told nobody this story. I'm telling my therapist. And I'm like, it was the time that Michael Irving and like Deion Sanders were popping and everybody had the 2 lines in their hair. Right? You remember that? Yeah. You're laughing because you know? And my pops was getting to the chicken at that time. Business was booming. Yeah. Okay. And we was good. Like we was eating different that whole year. Like, and my dad had a leather shirling with 2 clips on it. Fire with the cream inside, right? And I'm at home. My mouth fucking, I'm like, I'm gonna get one, mommy. I'm gonna get one. I was like, good kid, Mad City. I had to be home with mommy, right? My Cheeto's outside though. So I never forget, bro. My brother came home with the same shirling my pops had, but a different flip. Like he had like a black one. It was a black joint. So I'm like, yo, butter soft. So I'm saying, I
had the black joint too.
You feel me? Word up. By the way, we're not talking about rappers. We're talking about engineers right now. We're in the liner notes of lifestyle, right? We're talking about how many clips was on the Shirley. Fuck the Shirley. Yeah. We're talking about color combination, right? Like butter soft, right? This is important to our culture.
And we're talking about a time also.
The
Lassie Street.
Remember that at a time, it wasn't the rappers who were dictating this fashion.
It was the people that were living that lifestyle. Exactly. And you was a goofy if you was a rapper because you wasn't really living the life that these guys were WWE people in comparison to. So mind you, I'm living with people that are a product of the lifestyle, not music. So I want to make that clear. Right. So my brother had the 2 lines in his hair, and then my pops pulled up with the same 2 lines. And I felt, and by the at this time my mom still had a shag on me. I'm looking like fucking, I'm looking like Lionel Richie, and my brother's looking like fucking Deion Sanders. I'm like, what is happening?
Crazy.
Yo, they left me, and I'm Justin. I'm not Machito. I'm not Macho. I'm not Machito. I'm like, yo,
you're the black sheep.
Mommy, they leave. I'm like, Mommy, why they do me like that?
You was Dion when he got signed to the Falcons, and Machito was Dion when he was already on the Cowboys.
He was prime time.
Can I keep it real?
Please.
I'm gonna keep it 100 right.
That's all we do.
Let's do it.
As his older brother and as his father and from his mother, all right, there was a reason why we kept him with the shag. Okay?
Why?
We did it to protect him.
Yeah, it's protection.
No, listen to this, and this is a true story. I mean, now we wear what we got, right? He had big ears.
Right? They were protecting you.
No, I didn't have big. I still got big ears.
Yeah, but
you grew into them. You grew into them.
You grew into them. You grew into them.
With big ears, right? So the little curly hair,
give me a backdrop.
Protected it.
Give me a backdrop.
It covered it.
Concealed it. Okay. You know what I mean?
So they're saving you from teasing.
Nah, but hold on. I get that. But why I ain't get a Sherlin though?
Oh, true.
Yo, there was winning that year. I don't know what product was in the movement, but there was winning that year.
They ain't make them that small. They ain't make them that small.
Remember the knee-high Timberlands?
Yeah, the 40 belows.
So, but it could be that along with protecting your ears, they were trying to keep you out of.
That's what they really
out
were
of
doing.
the mix.
They were keeping me as Kendrick. I was the good kid on the porch. Right. I wasn't in the field. I was on.
They didn't want you to look the part.
I'm still trying to get a Sherlin to this day to live out old memories.
Yo, you'd be surprised how hip hop that thought right there is.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the point. So you asked about the music. I'm talking about the lifestyle.
All of us do that, subconsciously or not. We all do that in a way or not.
Daddy was an entrepreneur. My big brother, who was my superhero, still is my superhero, followed in the family business, right? Right? I got an opportunity to take that energy and commodify it and put it in a package and sell it to consumers in its most purest form. It's not dope, but it's a version of dope, right? So that's what I'm saying. I'm not dumb. When I'm around academics, people that have degrees, and they're my peers, I work with them, I know that if my father had an opportunity to run Universal Music Group, he probably would have been one of the best entrepreneurs because the business that he was conducting at that time was equally as lucrative. It just so happened that now you could sell it in 14 states, but my father was killing it at that time. And my stepdad was killing it in Trenton at that time. Same product, right? So for me, I've learned to adore and try to uplift the idea of that being a bad thing and being like, no, this scar on my face, I want you to see it. Because this scar on my face tells my story. I would never try to hide it. Yeah, it represents me. It's who I am. So these moments are so important to me. So back to the music, Biggie was playing at that time. Okay. And my brother, I never forget Machito leaving the TV on, and me and Wichito, my cousin, fresh from Puerto Rico, never had a shirt on.
To this day,
yo,
no shirt on.
That's his whole name. That's his whole name.
Jacket with no
Chito
shirt.
from Puerto Rico never had a shirt on.
Yeah, but by the way, wasn't who he was since he was a kid?
Yo, to this day, if you find Brother Wichito on the gram, he still don't wear shirts.
And we are. I want to say the video music box, right? What was that shit that used to play the same video all the time?
Back then, yeah.
Or the box, yeah.
So me and Wichito would just sit there. Machito would leave. Machito, my brother, Guichito, for those following at home. Guichito's my cousin. And he would leave, and we would be like, yo, Machito was like talking to us and shit, asking us what we felt so cool because Machito had cool friends and like, and my mom, we would take the VHSs that my mom had of like 5th birthday, 7th, and we would put aluminum foil in the little holes and record the box.
She would have
and just
kill you.
And we would just destroy family memories and record. So we watch it like my 5th grade birthday and fucking Feel So Good will come on. My mom would be like, what the fuck is this? And me and Wichito would take those VHSs and everybody go to sleep and we put them back on and we would write the lyrics down. I'd be like, yo, I'm Puff, you're Big, yo, you Styles P. Like, bro, this was because these guys reminded us of the people that we lived with. It wasn't like we were buying into music. Like we weren't like goth for a year. Bro, we were living hip hop. Like there's no other way. We were living like we were Macho's kids. Like that's it, you know? So the music was important, but Feel So Good was the first video I remember being like, and by the way, this molded me because my brother wasn't a big Wu-Tang guy. He listened to them, but my brother was on the glamorous side of getting women and looking fly. And I picked that up from them because I was like, what's this gritty shit? Like not like Wu-Tang. That was cool. It was like the other shit, like Boot Camp Clip. I'm like,
real underground.
He listened to that, but he was listening to the fly shit when he had like girls come over.
With Biggie and all that. So.
Grand Poobah. I'm like, yo, looking fly, talking fly, being cool. Like that reminds me of my dad. That reminds me of my uncles. That reminds me of all our family members that are in the same business. So the music was just a soundtrack, and I'm grateful that I got an opportunity to learn the music side of the business and meet people that were more interested in music. But my early influences were more interested in the lifestyle, not really the music. I mean, they were interested in music, but not as deep as we are.
Right. But back then,
but Feel So Good. That video, so Fisheye Lens. I wanted my life to be shot in a fisheye lens.
Facts.
And more money, more problems.
True story. Me and Wichito spent a whole year stealing East Bay magazines from our neighbors and trying to find where they sold the shiny suits because they looked like ski suits. And me and Wichito would be like, yo, this is probably what they're wearing in the video, like these ski suits. We gotta save like $300 to get one of these shiny suits. So that's true. Shiny suit theory.
Shiny suits.
Shout out to Bad Boy in the shiny
molded
suit
me.
era.
Puff molded me.
All right. We had an argument once.
Yeah.
We're gonna fast forward.
Tune in next week for the second installment of our interview with the senior marketing director at Def Jam, Justin Duran, as he continues to drop gems on the game. Thank you for listening to the GAHHD. Peace.